Evening, everybody. Good to see you guys here. It's been a week, eh? It has been a week. So here we go. Yeah, I mean, obviously, what election, right? I have been so unbelievably crazy busy. And then literally election night, I stayed up basically all night. So yeah, I'm exhausted. Because then I had meetings the next day and then I had meetings today. And so it's been a thing. But super excited to be with you guys this evening. As you can tell from the title, it is over. Thank God it is finally over. It is finally over. Whether you won, whether you lost, whatever. The fact of the matter is that it's finally over. And I was sick of getting text messages. I was sick of getting, the phone calls. I was sick of getting the spam emails. I was sick of getting it all. I'm busy enough. I don't need this stuff clogging up my freaking box. Like, don't need it. Don't care. Whatever. So the question is, where do we go from here? What do we do now? I will not be selling all my properties and moving to another country. I will not be selling all my properties for many reasons. But what we have to do is we just have to be honest with ourselves and just look at the market, right? Non-emotional. So I am here to be your reality check and to get over whatever emotional feelings you're having. Because quite frankly, they don't matter. They just don't matter. You can believe he's the devil. You can believe he's the savior. You can believe whatever you want to believe. At the end of the day, we have businesses to run. And while there's some ideas, right? There's some ideas that might work better than others. The key here is running your business, which is specific to your market. Don't lose focus. Keep your eye on the ball. What I will tell you is that in my market, because that's what I know and that's what I spend all of my time working in, I can tell you that our market has slowed. Rental units, there's more inventory than there used to be, not a ton, but there's more inventory than there used to be. There's more inventory than there is right now at this time of year. I can tell you that the real expensive stuff, I see the ads smattered all over everywhere. The expensive stuff, it's there. This is where landlords of B and C class assets get to thrive. The reason that we get to thrive is because in good times, those expensive assets, because they're getting so much pricing wise, it makes ours elevate. It elevates the pricing of ours, and certainly the perceived value, right? And so that's what happens in the good times. What happens in the bad times, i.e. wintertime in the Northeast, or a new election or whatever, what ends up occurring there is, and when an economy is starting to falter, which come on, guys, it's starting to falter. Like, I can appreciate that the Dow is at all new time highs. Bad news. You can't spend your stocks. They're in the stock market. People had money on the sidelines. They piled in. All that's great. I have some money in the stock market because I have a 401k. Don't really care. I care about my properties. That's what generates my income. You know how much money I make when I watch a stock? $0. And yes, I know there are dividend stocks, but none of them throw off dividends like real estate. They don't, unless they're extremely risky. So where we get value is in the appreciation of the asset that we have over time, recognizing that it can just be like the stock market where it goes down 20%. It just doesn't do that fast. The thing that everybody almost always gets wrong is the speed by which things happen. The idea is you need to be monitoring what's going on in your market. And the reason that you need to be monitoring those things is because it's important when you build a rent box, like students in my class have built. They're going to start to see what's the rent telling them, what's the market telling them. So we just had 2 units that just hit the 30-day mark, a little over 30 days. And and now we're looking at it and saying, guess what? Pricing's down. Pricing's down. Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the tape. You can sit there and say the pen is blue all you want, like liar, liar. You can say that all you want. It doesn't matter. Feelings don't matter. This is business. It's business. So what do I need to do to position my business to best be able to leverage what's going to happen over the coming months? Here's what you don't do. You don't leave a unit vacant on principle. I'm not saying take a bad tenant, but I am saying you lower the rent to the point where you get a tenant. You try it for a week or two. And then if you don't get quality tenants, that's telling you something. There's either not enough shoppers or your price too high. Either way, you're not rented, so it doesn't matter. But I can tell you right now, we have these 2 units. We've never, ever, ever hit 30 days on a rental unit. We just haven't. Now it's a bad time of year. I think the last time we got even close to that, I think it was the last election 4 years ago. And I think the last time, but that was also COVID. And then, so COVID actually didn't happen in COVID. But the 4 years before that, it did happen. The 4 years before that, it did happen. Didn't happen 4 years ago. It did happen 8 years ago. So it's been basically 8 years since we had an election that negatively impacted, what was going on in the apartments and in the housing market. So I can tell you, rents are down for some assets. We rented out a bunch of stuff at above what we rented it for last time. We had some units that were $2,200 that we rented out for $26. I mean, if you're doing real quick math, that's a 15% increase. That's a pretty good day. So what I would tell you is, again, stay the course. Like I said, it doesn't matter who you supported and if they won or lost. It doesn't matter. The world's still going to keep on ticking. It still kept on ticking 4 years ago. Do we love some of the decisions that were made? No, but we don't like that about a lot of the different regimes that take over, and all of the far right and far left stuff that happens. What a bunch of noise. What a bunch of noise. And it's not to say that it's not important. Obviously, that stuff is important, but stay focused on your business. Your business is owning rental properties, finding the next deal, and focusing on the numbers to make sure that you get the return that you need to get your right return on capital. You also need to be focusing on right-sizing yourself. I've said it. You've heard me say it. I got a bet with Zoom about it. I think the market's going to go down. I still believe that the market's going to go down. I believe that the median home price of existing home sales is going to go down 10%. Now, I'm running out of time. It's November. It's December, right? I don't have a lot of time left for that to happen. But from its peak, look it up, the Fred. Look up Fred and look up median home sales price. It's down from its peak. It is. Will it go down any much further? No idea. Will it go down and hit my 10% mark in the time I needed to? Maybe not. We won't know that number until February. But I can tell you firsthand, I've got 2 units on the market. I've got 2 units for rent, and I also have 2 buildings for sale, 2 single families. Here's what I can tell you on the single families. The single families have had little to no traffic in the last 2 weeks. Now, was that election based? When we did get traffic, we did ask them the question, hey, what's the deal? And they're like, yeah, we're still looking. We're not going to buy anything before the election, but we're still looking. Okay. Sounds good. I don't know what necessarily changes. But whatever, that's the way that they're running their business. That's the way that they want to do it. And again, these are mostly homeowners. There were a couple of investors in there, which I was shocked to see because I've done the math 100 times. And 100 times out of 100, single family homes don't make anything here. They just don't, unless you're overcharging. And I can tell you, there's going to be plenty of people in the market. I look at my market. I looked at the rent box. You know what the rent box says? Rents are down. So while they might not be down for a year, while they might not be down for 6 months, while they might not be down forever, while it might not be the tip of the iceberg, it might be. I don't know. I have rental units now, and I need to rent them now. So what the market price is now is what I'm going to rent them for, because I don't see a lot of people looking to move in December and in January. So my preference is to not lose a couple months rent, but to get in there and get these things rented out. So again, the main advice that I want to give you guys tonight, really the only advice I'm going to give you tonight is really experiential. I can tell you, after having been a landlord for over 22 years, that would mean that it's been Trump, Biden, Trump. That's 8. Obama for 2 is 16. And Bush for 1 is 20. And Bush for 2 is basically gets me there. So I've made it through that many presidents. I've made it through that many recessions. I've made it through that many boom bust cycles. What I can tell you is focus on your business. Dance with the one who brung you. And what I mean by that is see exactly what's going on in the market right now. That's all that matters. What last year's numbers was doesn't matter. What this year's number was doesn't matter. What matters is you can't lose months of rent. And so you have to stay and remain getting quality opportunities with quality tenants. And you have to find your price of where that is to attract that level of tenant. Don't overthink it. This is a business. All of the other stuff is noise. Whatever policy comes about, it doesn't matter. I'll focus on that when it comes about because you know what, guys? Honestly, that's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people, sometimes they guess right because they have a bunch of inside information. Sometimes that happens, whether it's a stock or a market or whatever. But I can tell you what always happens is that people who fight the tape, people who fight the market always end up losing. So make sure that you're doing all the core discipline things that you need to do. Make sure that you have a quality asset, i.e. if somebody's moved out, that you clean it out, that you take, you fix all the little things that need to be fixed. That way, when somebody moves in there, they're giving you the thumbs up saying, hey, it's good. I like it here. Nothing, everything's in good shape. I like it. It's, we're happy. Second thing is pricing. Make sure you're priced properly. If you have to, do not actually discount the rent. What you're better off doing in my eyes, and this is what I do, I discount the deposit. Does it put me at risk at the back end that they might not have enough deposit to cover whatever expenses? Sure, obviously that's a risk. But you know what? The bank doesn't track deposits like they track the rent. So the most important thing is that you keep your rent as close to reasonable as you can, as close to where it was as it is. If you're trying to get, everyone always gets this saying wrong. The pigs and hogs saying, they always say pigs get slaughtered. No. Hogs get slaughtered. Hogs get slaughtered. So don't be hoggish. Make sure that you're renting it out to a quality tenant. And this is where Dion's strategy works beautifully. Dion's strategy is I don't get top of market rents, but my people stick around. I have no turnover. Take a page out of his book. This is where it applies. Now, I was more aggressive in the hotter market, and I got every nickel I possibly could. Does it mean I'm going to have to come off of some of those? Yeah, but I'm not emotional about it. I just recognize, hey, it was great for a couple of years, and I can pretty much name my price. Now I can't. Now I have to follow up what the market is. I'm a market participant. So those are really the three key areas where you guys need to focus. Now, all that being said, let's jump in and we'll take some amazing questions from some amazing viewers. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's good. Old REI guy, thank goodness. Good evening from lovely Watsonville, California. Frank, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Rictavius Anderson, often imitated, never duplicated. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. I saw that you messaged me on one of the platforms. I promise I will get back with you. I had a couple things under deadline, something I'm going to be teaching. I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to do another special event with it, but we're going to be teaching it in the boot camp, which is how to maximize your floor plan and get it approved with the city. And then the things that you need to then support that. If you do that the wrong way, you could end up $10, $11, $12,000 getting something approved. It doesn't take that. You can spend a lot less money, get the things that you have to have approved. And that's what I'm going to teach probably in this Saturday's boot camp, which will be just a bonus for people. We obviously always talk about the last weekend we went 3 hours. We haven't had a weekend where we've gone 2 hours yet. I always say 2 hours, but it's been more like 3 and 4. But we'll be teaching that in this week's boot camp. Hey, this is how you do this stuff. Because I think that there's a lot of value there in being able to understand how to do that stuff. Oscar, good evening. Fire Nice. Thank you very much. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. I always appreciate that. There's my good buddy, Dion. Every time you hit the like button, a liberal leaves the U.S. Oh. That's brutal. Jack Stewart at Dion Talk Financial Freedom. How can I hit the button like 50 million times then? That's good, Jack. That's good. Fire Nice. So has anyone run into the situation where the back thinks your insurance deductible is too high, or the bank, and insists on no higher than 5% of the coverage? Yeah. Yep. They can do that. They can do that. It's in your mortgage that you sign with them that they can do that. What I've done is I've shopped banks. This has been one of the types of things that was a catalyst for me to be able to move something from one set of banks or a bank to another bank. And so I've done that. I've seen it. I had the same thing where one bank tried to push that on me. When I went to the other bank, I said, listen, I don't want to hear all the noise. One of the things that they might do, fire and ice, is you might be able to get away with something called a bank, a deal covenant. What that actually is so we have it in some of ours, where they basically say, yeah, that's fine. You can do that. And you can have whatever deductible you want on that. However, we do have the expectation that you'll have at least X amount of dollars. And it's not a hard figure. It's not a calculated figure. They calculate it. They don't tell me how they calculate it. They just say, that's fine, but we want to make sure that you have at least this much money in the bank if you're going to do that. Now, my strategy is all the way across my portfolio, $25,000 deductibles all the way across my portfolio. And PS, by the way, make sure you're checking your renewals, because I got a renewal that showed 5%. And I was like, why is this so much higher? It's because of the 5%. So what I would encourage you to do is when you're looking at that, talk to the bank. But that's why it's important to have relationships higher up in the bank, even if they're a local bank or a local credit union, and have the conversation with them where you say, I can appreciate that you want it to be at 5%. I don't want it to be at 5%. What I would respectfully request is that we have some sort of a deal covenant, i.e., that maybe I have to keep a minimum of whatever that number is that I have for deductible, that I have that amount of money just sitting in an account, or what percentage thereof. That is the way to mitigate the risk and ensure that you don't give up having to pay twice as much money on your insurance. Right? You guys have learned something new already. There's some gold for you. I mean, if my opening monologue wasn't gold, I don't know what is, but there's some more for you. Wayne Wong. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Fire Nice. See, I picked up what you're putting down. Hey, everyone. Happy out there. This evening. It's a happy evening. Sanity prevails slightly as Prop 33 was voted down in California. Oh, that's good. That's a good thing. Jason Calasabetta, how are you, sir? Buzztune, hello, sir. No more baby killing commercials or puppy giving commercials. Oh my goodness, the commercials are just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. And Rictavius, I completely agree. It's only over for this season. And when I say it's over, it really means all the noise. All the noise. There's a whole new set of noise coming, but that new set of noise I can tap into or tap out of. There was no tapping in or tapping out of what we were visually assaulted with for the last 2 months. So I'm excited that we're good. Good evening, Matt and everyone. Hey, Wealth Building Journey. Chester, good to see you. What a romp in that election. It was pretty crazy. I'm a numbers guy. And so I was just working mathematical equations in my head. That's what kept me up. And so I was just doing the numbers and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. So I watched 4 different channels for the coverage. And it was really funny because there were 2 channels specifically that even in a mathematical impossibility still wouldn't declare the state. It was a mathematical impossibility. Do the math. And do you know how you do the math? It's pretty straightforward. If you have X number of votes, and they say that there's 5% left, and then you look at the number and someone's winning by 5%, that's a mathematical impossibility because all of those votes would literally have to go for that one candidate in order for that to not be a thing. Kind of impossible. However, on the other side of it, it is obviously quite possible that that trend carry through. And if that trend carry through, guys, these guys have way more sophisticated models than we do. They're looking at it and saying, these are where the votes are still left to come in. And this is what percentage is going to go that way. So it's interesting to see. But again, no matter who your candidate was, there's only one president now, and you better manage your business because guess what? Taxes are still going to be due. Rents are still going to be due. And your business still needs to make money. Period. End of story. Miss K, hello. Future looks bright. Laura San Benito, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Borderline mandate level. Yeah, the numbers were big. I mean, can't deny it. The numbers were huge. Ninja Venus, hi, loyal followers. Good to see you, Ninja Vanish. Jack Stewart, will you ever consider cashing out your 401k to invest in more real estate, maybe a pumpkin farm? Pumpkin farm is more of a consideration. More real estate? No, probably not. And here's why. It's because I could do so cash out. I don't want to pay all the penalties. And there's that little level of diversification. It's maybe it's a few percent of my net worth. I don't, as you guys know, I can't spend my net worth, right? So my preference is to actually keep it in there and just have some exposure, some exposure to the market. Nothing crazy, nothing too risky, but it's still a decent number, still a decent number because I worked for 26 years in corporate America. So it's still a decent number. Robert Farinelli. So I randomly cold called a seller for my first time and got a hit of a serious seller interested in seller financing. So, oh shit, I found a seller financing deal. Now what? Well, we can talk about it in the course. We can talk about it in the boot camp on Saturday. Bring the numbers and we'll do it together. Fact, don't care about your feelings. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, stop being so self-indulgent. Like, honest to God, these late night hosts, what a bunch of whining, crying losers. Their opinion doesn't matter. They're a person. They're an entertainer. They have their lines written for them. They're puppets. Think of it. They're puppets. Who cares what Jimmy Fallon thinks? Who cares what Jimmy Kimmel thinks? Are there any late night show hosts that aren't called Jimmy? These guys are idiots. Like, they are first class morons. I don't give two flips. I love what Aaron Rodgers says. Aaron Rodgers, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, arguably top 10 quarterback of all time. And he says, never take advice or never listen to anyone's criticism unless they are someone that you would take advice from. I wouldn't take advice from those morons on anything, including comedy, because I think neither one of them are very funny. They're professional butt kissers, and that's how they get people to show up on their show. So I just don't care. I don't care about celebrity endorsement. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care. I only care about one thing, and that is specifically what's happening. Yeah. So technical difficulties, Wayne, am I? I don't think I am, but people tell me if I am. Let's see. Good stuff, Rob. Yes. Jack Stewart, if you are to attach to your business with your feelings, then you need to figure out how to remove yourself from your business. Feelings without facts behind will kill. Yeah, I mean, that's really the issue, guys. Like, this is why I just say it the way it is, right? When I go into the town and they want to argue with me about a point, I'm like, listen, just say you're denying it. Well, we're not denying it. No, you are. You won't let me do it. That's denying me from doing it. Of course that's a denial. Well, we just can't say denial. Why? Because I'm going to sit here and cry? Like, just say it's a denial. I was like, and just so you know, when you say it's a denial, I'm going to challenge you because I can do that. Like, can we not have a real conversation? So there's some people that hate seeing me coming in the town hall. Saw one today. She rolled her eyes when she saw me coming. I don't care. I pay so much money to that town for taxes. I probably pay twice what her income is. And she's a very nice person, but I know she rolled her eyes when she saw me coming, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. Is what it is. Fire and Ice, would you start advertising a unit 90 days out? No, I wouldn't. Over 2-year tenancy gets 90 days notice. Around here, it isn't uncommon to have a 3 to 6 month vacancy in search of a decent tenant, even at lower prices. See, so for me in my market, I wouldn't do it at 90 days because the showings and getting somebody to commit that early, we tried that for a period in our portfolio. And what we found is we consistently lost. Like, we would literally have people just go, oh no, something changed. And they would be like, oh, I need my deposit back. And it's like, well, no, I kind of kept the deposit for that reason. But the problem is that I can keep the deposit, but if I rent it out again, then I give them back their deposit. It just creates more paperwork. It's more of a pain in the ass. But if you know that you're 3 to 6 months, yeah, I'd be advertising right around. I mean, Fire and Ice, that's a brilliant thing to be keeping track of and knowing about your market. Hell yeah, I'd be advertising now and getting that thing lit and getting some people walking in that front door. Just have one thing I want to check real quick. That is shocking. That is shocking. Absolutely shocking. What's shocking is I kind of miss my I always tell you guys 6 to 8 p.m. is when you want to post on a Thursday. Sadly, I posted literally seconds before I came down here. It was just too late, so I'm not seeing a whole lot of traffic. But I just posted 2 units. Let's see. Wealth building journey. I concur about slow renting right now. I suspect that renters will be back in the market after the holiday for sure, especially now that there's resolution. Yes, that's what you will see, especially kind of mid-Atlantic up, Chester. Cold weather, Thanksgiving coming, Christmas coming, New Year's coming. A lot of those things, people don't have any focus on moving. They don't. And a lot of people's leases don't end at that time. Especially in like the Northeast and the colder part of the country, there aren't a lot of leases that end between November and the end of February. So guess what? A lot of times, you know who you're getting there? Somebody who's being evicted. That's a lot of times who you're getting, who you're actually getting for people looking at your unit. That's a hard pass. Robert Fairley. So first I have a call 2 with him tomorrow at 4. First, I have a call with him tomorrow at 4 p.m. If things go well, it's time I try to get him to sign a contract ASAP, like you want tenants to sign a lease after showing, or can I breathe a sec? I think it's about a conversation. I think when you're talking about, when you're having a conversation with somebody about that deal, I say, I always like to leave people with, you think, because I don't close them right then and there. I think closing is a process. I respect people enough to not manipulate them into what I want them to do. So what I do is I really want them to consider it. And so I always like to tell them, so we had that first phone call, they're interested. The very next thing that I say is, okay, so what are the things that are most important to you? The reverse offer strategy, like you'll find in my course. So we find out what's valuable to them. And then we say, okay, yeah, I really appreciate you taking me through that. Are there any things where you're just like, this would be a deal breaker for me. I want to find that out too. And then I take the way I say, you know what? I really appreciate all the time that you've given me this evening. There's definitely some things that I want to put together, but I don't just want to, do it right this second. And I really want to be thoughtful about it. Because the only people that can usually offer a number right there on the moment are ones that are underpaying, and smart sellers know that. So what I want to do is I want to take it back and say, hey, I really appreciate you spending me the time with me. I heard what you said. These are the things that I believe are the most important to you. Here's some of the deal breakers. Let me put something together based on this. Let's agree to talk tomorrow. Because I'll have something at least kind of sketched out. And if they say, no, let's talk in 2 days. Okay, perfect. Or yeah, tomorrow sounds good. That's what I want to have happen. What I want is I want to be closing on the next event. That's what I want to be closing on. What am I closing on? I'm closing on the next phone call. I'm closing on what we're going to discuss on that next phone call. I'm setting the agenda. That's how closers close. Closers aren't like, 150. Does that sound like a good deal? That's not how you win. That's not how you win. I know I've closed hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions. Yep. Hundreds of millions. Yep. No joke. Hundreds of millions. It's not how you do it. It's a process. What are the most important things to you? What are the deal breakers for you? Let me go back and work on the numbers and see what we can put together. And then when I go and present them, I wait and telling ain't selling. I present the number and then I stop talking and I let them tell me. I let them give me feedback. Awkward pause, awkward pause, awkward pause. You want to be considerate in how you're dealing with this with somebody. They're people. They're people. I'm not trying to manipulate them. I just want to awkward pause. I want to slow everything down and make sure that they don't feel rushed and make sure that we can have a conversation. Whatever I just said pissed off 10 people. Either that or something happened with YouTube. Either way, it's fine. But that's what I would do. Matt has those donkey choking secrets. Yes, I do. Thanks, Octavius. If yes, where do I get a contract from that holds legal water? I have a real estate attorney because call is tomorrow at 4 p.m., but they won't be open until Monday, and I don't want him to change his mind. Yeah, so you can do something called an LOI. You can do something called a letter of intent. That's something you can do. And you can also get a copy of a purchase and sales agreement, just a regular purchase and sales, and fill it out. The state of New Hampshire on their state website has a copy of a legal purchase and sales. You could use that. If you have a real estate agent, you could just say, hey, can you just send me over a blank P&S? That's what I do. That's what I've done. I have a blank P&S. That works for me. Oh, dear God. My Boston Bruins, they just cannot keep a lead. This NHL season's killing me. She invests. I have 2 units that have been available for 2 weeks. 1 unit is waiting for HUD inspection. We attracted a HUD voucher holder and submitted the landlord form to HUD. One section mentioned not being able to charge more to a HUD than I would other tenants. If I reduce the rent of the other unit, can I still get full FMR for HUD tenant? So what they want is they want comparables of units to units. And so when you have a bunch of units, you can actually show them this is the market price for the unit. Let me know if I answered that the way that you needed it. But yeah, you can charge. What they do is, and that's not a HUD. That's called a HAP. It's called a housing. It's a housing application program or something like that. But it's called a HAP. And so you fill the HAP is the thing that comes after. The first thing is called a RAFTA. So a RAFTA is, hey, here's the pricing, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it passes inspection, then you get something called a HAP, and that's the housing authority. That's the housing authority contract that you have to sign. So yeah, you can use like units. You can use those. And so if you don't have any units that are just like that one, use others from the market and just look at what their pricing is. And that's, you can then, charge FMR. Where it worked in our favor was that when FMR was well below market, we could actually show what other units we had at that price range and show them that. And then they would pay the higher amount. Yep. That's something that's going to be in, I'm updating the course and I'm adding a section 8 section. Dear God. Oh, go away. Matt has those donkey jokes and secrets. Yep, read that, and I agree. Where did Dion put something? Did I miss it? Dion, did somebody block you on my channel? I only see the first comment that you left. Let's see here. All right. Crimson. I think he is motivated, was on the market a year ago, didn't sell. When I talked to him last Sunday, he said in a frustrated voice, I finally got all the shit out of there when I asked him what has changed. There you go. Frustrated landlord right there. Nathan Peters. If I wanted to enter the presidency during or around the time where the brink of debt crisis is at hand, it would be Trump. Yeah, Nathan, I mean, at the end of the day, you can have whatever view or opinion that you want, but the problem that most people make is they make no accounting for adjustment. And so the fact of the matter is that there's always going to be ebbs and flows to a market. The downside of this market started occurring in the current presidency, and it was based on bad policy and how much debt the country is racking up on a daily basis. So whatever happens after January 1, hopefully that trajectory gets changed, and then we see what those pieces and parts are. But my guess is, Nathan, you probably won't ever enter the market. That's my guess. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you have other units, I'd love to hear about it. Let's see. Matt, you mentioned, I'll tell you next week's story, I believe last week. Can you tell it now? I won't tell it here. Nope, I can't tell that story here. That story is only going to be that story will only be in a boot camp. Can't be public. Can't be public after further conversations with my attorneys. She invests. Great idea to reduce the deposit. Would you accept payments for deposit and or pet fee? Yes. Yeah, I would. Yep, absolutely I would. Sure. Of course. You know what I might even do too is I might even waive the pet fee, right? I might even waive the pet fee. That's something that you're going to get that's going to be above and beyond the rent, that the bank isn't looking for that. They're not. So play within the system that we have. That's maximum effectiveness. You know, I want to reduce the deposit. I want to allow them to make the deposit in payments, because I want the rents to stay as much as they possibly can. If I give a month of rent away, that is a better option than reducing the rent. That's a better option. Chris Culp. Howdy, folks. Howdy, Chris Culp. I worked the polls between 5 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. I'm tired. Well done. Well done. Oh, good stuff. I need that floor plan course. Very relevant. Yep, to this deal I'm working on, because there is a huge potential for this duplex to become a fourplex via adding 2 studios or a triplex with an extra 4-bed. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, kind of what that process is. This is the one that I'm going to cover this weekend, is going to be adding space within a unit, and how you get that approved and how you do that. And then I will show you what the option is for. I mean, there's just 1,000 ways to cut this thing, so we can make that happen. Kim Bishop, good evening from Bend, Oregon, and fixing my 3rd appliance of the year. I've had a rash, and that's the right word, of appliances going bad because of the ones that I bought before I standardized on the 3 brands that I really standardized on. So I've had like in 6 months, I think I've done 6 appliances. Maybe 7. It's not good. Not good. CJ, business as usual over here. Exactly right. Wealth building journey. That was probably MSNBC or CNN. So it was CNN and I think Bloomberg. I think it was CNN and Bloomberg. Yeah. Wealth building journey. Yep. Needing 105% of the outstanding vote is definitely a mathematical impossibility. Yeah. I mean, it's just running numbers, guys. I'm a numbers guy, so I just run the numbers. Recently I had a move-in special that canceled out their pet fee, got me a quality tenant. Fire and ice, nail in the head. That's what we're doing here. Guys, this is what we're trying to accommodate. HOA Press. Fortunately, the election is over, and more important, the winner is clear, and there is no issue of voter fraud. Yes, I agree. Dylan Marshall. I sold 1 house, bought 2 new houses 4 months ago, trying to get HELOC on primary houses. Banks are telling me that they can't use new rents because they're too new. Any ideas on how to unlock capital? Yes. So you could potentially look at a DSCR loan. Depending on how badly you want the money, you could look at hard money loans. But I would look at Convoy Mortgage. Convoy Mortgage offers some good secondary products. So I would look at Convoy. Yep. Let's see. But that's what I would do. Yeah, Dylan Marshall. Well, welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Lumberjack, what up? What up, Larry Bird? Draining threes. Wayne Wong, technical difficulties, was my YouTube not loading. Okay, good. Wasn't me. Bill O'Connell, thank you. You're welcome, Bill O'Connell. I don't know what you're thanking me for, but you're welcome. Fire and Ice. All the advanced intel I saw was saying 55% Trump, 45% Harris. In actuality, Trump overperformed by 5%, 57.5% of the vote. HOA Press. Everyone has an opinion, but there are only one set of facts. Patrick Moynihan, get your facts right before plunging into a decision. Trade Better. Hey, evening, Lumberjack. Hi, Trade Better. I was wondering if you have ever installed floor mini splits. Are there any brands you would recommend? I've never installed the floor ones, but I have installed the cassettes. So a cassette is, instead of it being mounted on the wall, it's actually mounted in the ceiling. I have installed cassettes. They are more expensive. But what I really like about, I do really like about them. They're quiet. They don't take up wall space. I don't have to worry about windows and window spaces and distance between windows. I don't have to worry about one side of the room being too hot while one side of the room is too cold. So I really do like the ceiling ones because it allows me to move where that the ceiling unit is, and it gives me a more even dispersed level of heat. The cassettes are more expensive, but in my eyes, they're one of those things that's worth it. Crimson Knight. Another problem, MLS deal with offer deadline 6 p.m. Sunday. If it takes more than tomorrow to finish the seller financing deal, how should I manage this? You're only get a PNS. Get a PNS. Call your real estate agent and say, hey, can you send me a copy of a blank PNS? That's how you do it. Obviously, I'd much rather get this deal to work. I have no competition, at least I think. Yep. But this MLS deal is decent and everything else is shit, basically. Yeah. HOA Prez. The good thing about the election is that you probably won't see national rent control, at least for the next couple of years. You'll never see national rent control. You won't. Ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. The Riley A-OK. Thanks for doing these. What's your exit strategy, if any, when you get old? We have kind of a few different, we have options. And so we haven't set on any like one path. We've got 4 kids. Maybe one of them wants to take over the business. We may reduce the portfolio to then have only cash assets. And then just derive all of our income, which would basically have almost zero cost to it, except for maintenance. And at that point, we would, we could put with a management firm if it was something where I was just sick and tired and I didn't want to do anything anymore. I don't do much as it is now on that front because we've got people on staff, and having them as employees, they're great employees. They're just great at what they do. And so largely they can kind of handle the day-to-day. The real work that I put in is on the management of the portfolio. So getting cheaper debt, refinancing, buying the next deal, doing budgets and projects. I think we're actually due for a 44 South update. When was the last time we did one of those? Saturday? Yeah, I think we're due for another update. I want to say maybe Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, Saturday or Sunday, or maybe early this week. But yeah, we've got another one. We got another update coming on the community house. Like I told you, by November 15th, it's the 7th now, so 8 more days. So next Friday, by next Friday, the place is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different, and you guys will get to see it firsthand. Aculus. Hey, Aculus, good to have you here. I have a mom and daughter, great tenant. The mom is older and prone to falls. Oof, I have insurance and umbrella. Should I be concerned about falls? Anything proactive I should do? Just make sure all the safety stuff is done. Yeah, you got to make sure all the safety stuff is done. You want to make sure that railings are all secure. You want to make sure that there's no easy slip and fall things. I would at least start, for me, because I care about the person, I would more just want to start that dialogue with the daughter and just say, hey, I would reach out to them, and in black and white, I would just say, I would send them an email and say, hey, I know that your mom's, had some health issues and just wanted to follow up and see how she's doing. Interested is interesting, but it's important to be a good person too. And then she'll respond back, and then she'll say, oh, thank you so much for asking. No, she's doing great, or she's having struggles with this or that or the other. And then the follow-up question is there anything that we can do to help? Is there anything where, that there's been an issue? Now here's the issue. If you know about the issue, you better address it. But if you know about the issue and you do address it, if it ever becomes an issue later on down the line, listen, I asked them if there was anything that was a problem. And when they said X, it was X. Now, if they're that great of a tenant, and I have a couple of those, just kidding. I have plenty of those, but facetiously speaking, I've got a couple of those. But what we look at is we have a tenant that is a paraplegic, and they were getting a new ramp. And the problem is the ramp was literally going down into like their hard packed dirt driveway. That's going to be a problem in the wintertime. That's going to be a problem in the springtime with thaw. So what do? We said, hey, all right, we now know what the problem is. We're going to pave the driveway. So we paved the driveway. Now, did I ask for anything in return? I didn't. Could I have? Sure. But I didn't ask for anything in return because what I want to do is I want to make this a place that they never want to leave. They've been there for 8 or 9 months. Generally speaking, they're a good tenant. But the cool thing is that I added more value to my house, but I put this person, the paraplegic, in a good situation where the ramp was delivered, the ramp was installed, and it perfectly meets with the driveway because we knew what the ramp design was going to be. So it perfectly meets with the driveway. So that's what we did. So now we know that we've given them an opportunity to have the best life that they possibly can just by doing the little things. And yeah, that driveway cost me thousands of dollars. But again, it's now paved and it's good for 30 or 40 years. Might need some repairing eventually, but it's probably good for 30 or 40. I've had this guy pave stuff for me 20 years ago. And it's still in good shape, no major cracks or shedding or anything like that. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do to be proactive, Aculus. HOA Prez, why are you looking to rent? You see, I needed to find another place to live as I am currently being evicted from my current place. Yep. Great question to ask. Rictavius Anderson, what do you tell tenants when their lease is up in the late fall to prevent from leaving? Winter is coming. So we don't have leases start then. So we have some inherited leases, or we have tenants that we let go month to month because we knew that we were going to need some work in the unit. So they go month to month. That allows us to also do the price increases that we want to do. But it gives us freedom as well because we didn't do price increases across 70 units. We do price increases for between 5 and 8 units at a time because we always get at least one person that says, I'm not sticking around for that, or is gone within 30 days or is gone within 90 days. We just don't want to do it to 70 units because if you multiply that same result, or 80 units, you've multiplied that same result, and I've got 10 vacant units, right? So we always do it in sections. But for us, we really focus everything kind of May, June, July, August, September is about the latest that we want to go. And so if we get them with leases, you have to check on what your state rules are. But if we get them for leases, we'll actually do a 6-month lease, or we like to do an 18-month lease instead. And so we have some flexibility on what we can do there. And then that becomes your opportunity. Give me just 1 second, guys. I want to see if we're getting any traffic on this ad. Shocking. We're getting no traffic on that ad. Now I posted it on a brand new site, so it could be the site, but I'm interested to see what happens. We don't usually post there, so I'm literally testing it there to see if there's any activity on that site whatsoever. It's not any of the ones that we normally use. Wealth building journey. Got to maintain good standards, good assets, demand good tenants. That's exactly right. Fire and ice. Is seller financing reserved for basically turnkey units? No. Existing with tenants? No. Our niche has been cash for places needing gutted for basement prices. So I've done a lot of that. So I've done a lot of that, but no, seller financing can be on any deal. It's just a matter of what the reality is, right? That's usually what the biggest thing is. HOA Prez, lawyers may not be around on Monday as it's Veterans Day. That's true. Josh Burdick, good to see you, good sir. Robert Farinelli. So because you skipped my first comment and we all talking politics, I was great what happened at state level elections, but that seller financing deal is the best thing that happened this week. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Farinelli's from New Hampshire. I'm from New Hampshire as well. We were ecstatic with who our governor is. She is the most like Governor Sununu, and Sununu had, I think, 4 terms. He was a great governor, has the state with surplus, doesn't blow up taxes all the time. Like he's fiscally conservative, which is always what a business person likes, or largely speaking, unless they're on the dole. But yeah, it was a great governor election for us. Hey, Key, how are you, sir? Good to see you. HOA Press, we keep kicking the can down the road until we kick the bucket. The Fed is hoping that the debt will can be slowly monetized away, and the future GDP growth reduces GDP national debt ratio. Yeah, sure. I mean, but countries, they try to inflate their way out of it. Like that's the model for the type of debt that we're in. That's how you do it. But the other things that you can bite off at the edges, and do is, free trade isn't fair trade, and fair trade is not free trade. So one of the things that I like is fair trade. And some of the like GM products have 100% tariff in some countries, but we still import their cars and we don't put that tariff on there. Listen, no matter what you think about Donald Trump, he's a better negotiator than any president we've ever had, period. Look at the deals he put together. I'm a deal guy. I'm a numbers guy. I like the deals he puts together, whether you like it or not. And speaking of great things despite things, appraisers said it was blown out of the water expecting 500, but got 570. That means I now have an infinite return with the cash I'm taking out. Guys, Farinelli, check that action out. That's what we talk about in the course. That's the type of stuff we talk about. Improving the property, raising the price, and then being able to capture some cash back. Infinite return. Love it. Do you know any bank that does a 95% HELOC? No, I don't. Especially on investment properties. An investment property HELOC is tough enough to find, but an investment property, but a 95% HELOC is even more difficult. Yep. Fire and Ice. No unrealized capital gains tax. Peanut the squirrel sealed the deal. Chris Culp, any luck finding a new cabinet guy? Love to order some cabinets. So yes, I have somebody that is taking the designs and I'm going to see what they come back with. So I have somebody that I'm going through the process with. That's one of the things I've been busy with. Selfishly, I have a dozen kitchens now that I need to order. Dozen kitchens. Freaking hell. One last political comment. I learned my vote matters. I was one of 26 people who ousted person A with person B, with a race having 20,403 votes. Wow, that's amazing. Rictavius Anderson, when are the donkey choking shirts coming? We're going to have them. Yeah, we're going to have them. Yep, soon. I hope. Do I miss having a job? Dion, I don't. Dion knows I don't miss having a job. Oh, freaking don't miss that at all. Oh, bleh. Nope. Jean Shaheen. Yeah, she sucks. Yeah, she was awful. She was a garbage governor. Yep. Chris Sununu was awesome. Yep. His dad, John Sununu, I met him when I was a kid. But John Sununu was fantastic. Chris Sununu followed in his dad's footsteps. Chris was very, very, very pro-business. One of the things that I loved that he did that has had its consequences was he kept our state really open during the pandemic. And what I loved about that was our death rates weren't worse than anybody else's. And so the numbers were really good for us, but it got a lot of businesses to move here. We got a lot of businesses move here. Now there's more work to do. Because, but the cool thing is that some of the biggest developers in New England are looking to develop projects in the Granite State, which would be market changing developments. And that's what we need. We need those guys who are willing to, no joke. There's some of these developments that are, $100 million, $200 million, $300 million developments. New Hampshire towns don't need many of those to really blow up. No, Maureen Healy is the idiot in Massachusetts. No, our current governor Sununu was our governor. He didn't run again. And so Kelly Ayotte won. And really like Kelly Ayotte's policies. They're a lot like Chris Sununu's. She's got a great business mind, and really understands how to help small businesses. And the competition that she was up against has presided over trying to put an income tax in place 6 years in a row. Just a bunch of just silly, stupid stuff that's just completely anti-New Hampshire. Angel R. Hey, Matt, do you add additional hand railings to your wooden stairs? Additional hand railings. Tell me what you mean. Adding a pressure reducing valve has reduced my water bill by 5 to 15%. You're welcome. Yep. Telling you. Those magic. And then you change out your toilets and you do all that other stuff. Like, I'm telling you, Angel R is crushing it in the optimization mode. He is fine tuning his assets. And that's the type of stuff that we talk about all the time. Fine tune the asset, low flow heads, all of that stuff is so big, so big. Kelly Ayotte is going to be incoming. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. Kelly's awesome. Yeah. She's awesome. Mrs. Ayotte. Like I said, she just knows how to run businesses. She's quality. Can you explain pressure reducing valve? I can. Hold on one second. Wealth building journey. That's the Massachusetts Indian governor spent all of her time campaigning with Kelly Ayotte's opponent. It's true. So we had so many transplants from Massachusetts. So we had so many of them from Massachusetts move here, and she was elected there. What was really funny was all of the policies that she had that closed down Massachusetts are the opposite of what we did in New Hampshire to stay open. And so the bonehead didn't have any freaking clue that when she was out there campaigning, that it was a pretty easy thing to pick off and go, wait a second, you're the moron that shut down the state down there. Yeah, that'd be a huge problem if that happened here. Like, that's just a poorly run campaign. Yeah. Let's see. Well, yes. How do you feel about replacing? Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Culp. Explain the pressure reducing valve. So you can, is it a pressure reducing valve? Is that what you're calling it, Angel? Yeah. I mean, like a metal 3/4 type galvanized tubing for people to grab onto. Yeah. I always want to, yes. So we wouldn't necessarily, so outside, sure. It's fine. Yep. What we typically would do is we would use black iron. In all honesty, we would use black iron, and then just spray it. We would spray it, and then we would also then just sprinkle in some grit into it. But we would spray it, or you can even roll on with foam after you dump some dirt in it. Because you want that to actually not just be slippery, because when it's wet, right, that's when people are going to slip. Well, that thing, they might get their hand on it, and their hand might slip off. I bought a rigid press tool and been doing a lot of plumbing myself. Got the tool for $1,000 and it's paid for itself in less than 6 months. Angel, right? That is like, Angel, I'm so glad you took that advice and got that tool. That tool is the nuts. We have one, and we had so many little things that we wanted to go do. It saved ourselves a fortune. Yeah, the pro press fittings are expensive. Yep, but plumbers in my area are thieves. Right? They flat rate you for a job. They're like, oh yeah, that's going to be $200, and they're there for like 15 minutes. Now, what I will tell you, Angel, is you can actually buy them online, and you can buy them in bulk, and that's what I've done. I outfitted a truck with 50 straight couplings and 25 elbows, and so I literally stocked a box. Cost me a few $100. But it's way better than having to walk into Home Depot or walk into a plumbing supply store and have to do that. Yep. Rictavius, how do you feel about replacing income tax with tariffs? We don't have an income tax in our state, so not really sure. We don't have income taxes here. We have high property taxes. I just want to see the math behind anything. My biggest thing with tariffs is they need to make sense, right? And I just want fair trade, and I think that we've done a bad job of negotiating these deals with bad businessmen and bad business people. And I think a good business person is going to fix that. Angel R, looking forward to your Black Friday Home Depot finds. If you do that this year, I will. Last year, you saved me a lot of money by suggesting contractor doorknobs. You're the man. Angel, you're the man. Dude, anytime I find something like that, I know you're out there buying it and then implementing it in your buildings and doing magic things. Angel, talk a little bit about, or if you can just put in there what you're talking about, the the pressure reducing, I want to make sure that I know what you're referring to. Luke Devine, would you recommend that I save up for someone to do the renovations for me, or do it myself? Me personally, I think you always need to know what renos cost and what the effort is. Because there's a lot of things like, if I get a quote, so when COVID was crazy and some people were giving us quotes for $5,000 for painting, I'm like, no, because I can buy the material at cost, right? And my guys are good enough painters. So it gave us some more things to do. But I would look at it and I'd say, oh, that's like $500 worth of materials. Who cares? $500 worth of materials, and putting my guys in where they could paint it. It was $2,000. So I was getting it for half price. And then you know what I was doing? I was then getting the other guys to come in and do, oh yeah, look at these mistakes. Yeah. Awful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long will it take you to fix them? Oh man. I mean, it's going to be like at least a full day. Okay. Sounds good. Guess what? That full day cost me $500, $400. I still end up $2,000 ahead. Because largely speaking, painting is a skill, and the speed by which you can do it's a skill. But when you've got guys trying to soak you for these massive numbers, it's important that you know what goes into the effort of that job. For a year and a half, my wife, Ashley, she did all the painting for like a year and a half, and she got really good. Yeah, she got really good. Jerry Oaksmith, how come renters always take the toilet paper when they move out? That's a good question. It's a good question. The better answer is I would just take it off of their security deposit. If you were the one who provided them a full roll to start, because that's the only way that you can do that. Give me just 1 second here. Let me see. No. That's just ridiculous. Hold on 1 second, guys. Nope. Okay, 1 second. Did you guys see the comment? Oh, thank God they went in overtime. Thank God. Did you guys see the comment in the last week's video where somebody chastised me for taking those 2 bites of yogurt? Don't come here. Don't come here. If I'm starving and I haven't eaten all day, I would rather eat a thing of yogurt in front of you and give you 90 minutes of free information. Some people, honest to goodness. So the pressure reducing valve, Angel, if you're there, we'd love to have you chime in there, but I know that I believe what you mean is it's a line reducing valve, and that increases pressure, but lowers the amount of water being used, and you still have the same effect. I believe that's what you're talking about, but I'm not positive, so I don't want to misspeak. The only challenge that you have there, and then you can also get like pressure tanks added on and things like that. Yeah, water pressure reducing valve. Plumber measured my duplex's water pressure at 120 psi. I installed a PRV and expansion tank myself, set 75 psi. My water bill went down. Yep, there you go. That's what it is. Dylan Marshall, FMR 2025 rents went down. Any thoughts on that? Some markets they did, some markets they went up. I think that is largely speaking, it's a perversion of the numbers. They shouldn't have gone down in most markets. And so what I would tell you is, I still had rents that went up in markets where FMR went down. I just had the conversation with housing. So it really is market dependent. And often that market is incorrect, because what they'll do is they're looking at the numbers that they're charging for rents. The funny thing is that they account for the landlords that don't raise rents. That's kind of a problem. So that's where that issue ends up being. That's where that ends up being a problem. I saw the comment, that guy is a loser. Her name was Ida. I don't think it's a guy. I think it's Ida. But Ida, I'm glad you're here. you want to hang out. But yeah, if I want to eat yogurt, I'll eat yogurt. If you want to watch some other show that doesn't give as good of information, but the guy doesn't eat yogurt, watch that one. I'm happy you give your time away for free every week. Yeah, I'm happy to do it for you guys. She invests along the toilet line. Is it gross to leave a used plunger in the unit? No. What I would honestly do though is I would clean the plunger, like, get a combination, like not with your bare hands. But what I would do is, I would get, what I would do is I would get a bucket and I'd put some sort of a soapy, bleachy type of a, OxyCleany type of thing. Look online for, hey, how to best clean a plunger. I don't want to take those things out. Those are expensive. And the fact that they have one there, guess what the good news is? I'm going to get fewer calls because some people are stupid and they don't own a plunger. And then they think it's my responsibility to do everything, even when they clog the toilet with wipes. So my preference is to have a plunger there. If somebody leaves it behind, I'd like it there, but I would like it to be clean for them. Sure. So that's a great question. Great question, She. Yes. You guys out of questions already? Sorry. Add a sewage addendum to the lease. It may scare tenants from clogging it with wipes. So we don't have a sewage addendum, but what we do have is we have a warning in there about wipes. And so we say, if we go through there and if we find that it was clogged due to improper use, and then we highlight what improper use is. It is anything being flushed down the toilet other than toilet paper or human waste. Yeah. I can't complain. 3,400 is still good for my 4-bed. Yeah, that's great, Dylan. That's fantastic. Yeah. 3,400 for a 4-bed is that the all-in number with everything in there? Like heat, hot water, electricity, everything? I'm watching the Bengals shock the Ravens. Baltimore 21. Watching the Bengals shock the Ravens in Baltimore. 21-7 right now. Wow. That is shocking. Yep. Don't worry. I'll make up for lack of questions in boot camp. This is a lack of questions, Robert. I'm teasing. It's fine. Aculus recently bought a duplex with an old asphalt driveway. Yep. Which has holes in it. Asphalt like tar, like black asphalt. Immediately put some gravel in the holes, but it's washing out. Yep. That's only going to hurt it. Thoughts on patching versus paving, asphalt, concrete, gravel. I like asphalt. It's a better product. No heat, no electric, just rent. That's a great number. Dylan, what market are you in? That's a big number. 3,400. I'm guessing you're in a city or close to an expensive city. So Aculus, they make something called hard pack. You can buy it right at Home Depot. It's basically asphalt in the bag, but it's specifically made to fill holes like that. What you want to do is you want to basically take a grinder and then you basically remove all the loose pieces. And you can, however you need to get those out, but take up all the loose pieces. And then after you take out all the loose pieces, then you want to take a grinder and you just want to grind down the edge. You can look that up on YouTube. It shows you exactly how to do it. You can grind down the edge and then you put this hard pack in there. You dump it in, you spread it out. And then what you do is you make it slightly proud of the surface. Then you take a piece of plywood and then you drive over it 10 or 15 times. Swear, not even joking. And that will give you a nice hard pack seal. It will pack it down enough. And then if you see that hole has gone south of where the level is, then you just add a little bit more and you do the same thing. So I've actually done it. Works out awesome. Let's see. No. Okay. Here's a question about math. Okay. I'm ready. Plywood leveling material, $4,000 in plywood leveling. Oh, dear God. All right. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Septics are tough. Yep. Septics are tough. They're expensive. What you also want to look at is you can, in most states, you can get, guys, I just realized this is like a $5,000 hack. This is like a $5,000 hack. This is how good this hack is. In most states, the state is the one that approves a septic design. What you do is you find one of the many, many, many different companies out there that does specifically septic design. They don't do anything else. They only do design. That's it. Only design. And you actually have them do up your design. In our state, that's usually about $1,500. But when you own that design from a design firm, I actually can take that design and I can bring it to as many different companies as I want and get their quote to build the system. Here's the cool part. You then take that not to necessarily septic companies. You can take it to septic companies, smaller septic companies. But what you're better off doing is hiring a mom and pop like excavator guy and find one with experience of doing septic systems. Because a lot of times it's stone and pipe and, it might be it might be what's called a vault, but that is a way to get your $15,000 or $18,000 septic system down to about 10. And you tell them, I only need you to come in here with your machine. I'll buy all the stone. I'll buy all the pipe. You just let me know how much you need. That's it. And they can do the quick math and they can go, yeah, you're going to need this many tons of stone and you're going to need 70 feet of pipe. And there you go. You now have a septic team. You now have a new septic system. And again, you have to talk about vaults and that sort of stuff. And so you might need to buy the vault, but yeah, you can knock $5,000-$6,000 off of a $18,000 bill pretty easily. Okay. Flooring question. Plywood leveling material, $4,020. Plywood leveling labor, $8,500. Underlayment material, $3,000. Labor, $2,145. LVP material, $12,870. LVP installation labor, $12,870. 4,200 square feet. I think. So what's the question? Math look right for LVP. Oh, does the LVP number at 12.8? No, probably not. No, probably not. You're probably looking, if you're buying 4,000 square feet or 4,500 square feet of material, you can probably get a pallet somewhere. That's the first thing. Yeah. So 43,000. Does that sound right for everything? $10 a square foot. No, it seems high. Yeah. That number seems high to me. I got to believe there's a less expensive way to do it. I think, I would be looking at, putting in new lolly columns in the basement. You can probably get the areas level that you need to get level for a lot less money. The other thing too is that the way to properly level the floor is if you've got over a 10-foot span, a grade that goes from 0 to 1.5 inches, you're better off cutting wedges. You're better off cutting wedges and then getting those screwed to the floor and then putting flooring right on top of it. You do those 12 inches on center and the floor and that stuff's not going to move at all. In your experience, is it worth to convert attic into an additional bedroom? I'm literally doing a project like that right now. Maybe even 2 of them. Yep, it does for sure. It does. The math almost always works. If you're going from a 2 to a 3, you got to just look at what the market numbers are. 3 to a 4, just look what the market numbers are. A lot of times, like we're doing one where we're adding a dormer. We added electrical. So the dormer is going to be with materials about $4,000 for that space. We're $4,000 for the dormer and materials. We are about $4,000 for sheetrock and insulation. So we're $8,000 flooring. We're going to be able to sand the flooring that's there. Electrical was about $1,000 for that area. Yeah, so we might be $10,000 into that spot, but man, that's going to have one hell of a return. Yeah, because we'll get $500 a month more on the unit, maybe $600 a month more on the unit, so it's going to have less than an 18-month return. Yeah. REI Trainer, hello. Who is your flooring supplier again? Don't have anyone. Don't have anyone right now. Now we go local. We go local. I think you suggested a great LVP. Is it still as good? It was. No, yeah, no worries. It was. They were fantastic, but they went out of business. I don't know what happened. They went out of business. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Angel R. The returns are nuts. The returns are absolutely nuts. So we're doing that with one. So we did that with we did the dormer with the small house that we had, with the 3-bed, but it made it really spacious, gave you a nice big hallway upstairs where you could put a computer desk, and nice big headroom getting up the stairs. Like great spot, great investment. All in, I think it was about $3,500 when it was all said and done. Or actually, no, it was closer to $4,000 when we accounted for the sheetrock. So it was about $4,000, maybe a tiny bit more. So my number was actually dead on that. It was dead on. And then, and this other one that we're doing, again, we just like adding these dormers now that we've got a good price on dormering stuff, because it's a framing crew and they do them in their sleep. They do a great job. And, we can do a dormer for, in most cases, between $5,000 to $7,000 all in, even for a bigger dormer. So yeah, well worth it. Then you just have to figure out getting electrical in there. And then usually you want to put a couple windows in too. So a couple windows, electrical, insulating, and then sheetrocking the space. Like I said, we're going to be 10. Are we going to be 10? Yeah, we're going to be about 10. I think we're going to be about 4 on that piece. Yeah, we're going to be about 10, maybe 12, 10, maybe 12, but we're going to get $600 more. So it's going to be $7,200 a year. So we're going to be paid off in 18 to 24 months forever. Do bathrooms and kitchens need egress windows? No. Nope. No, they don't. Mm-mm. Is not per regular building code or New Hampshire code. Not to my knowledge. Angel R, this is a 3-bedroom going to a 4. There's enough space up there to add a half bath, but probably not worth. No, do not add a half bath to that. No. Yeah, no, I would not be adding another half bath up there. Half baths. So if you're watching the series, guys, on the community house, we will do a video there in the next few days, but adding that half bath cost us $5,000 in plumbing. It cost us $1,000 in materials outside of the plumbing. So like toilet, sink, 2 additional doors, and the labor to put those in. So that was like $1,000. It was $5,000, another $1,000. The framing was inconsequential. It was basically nothing. The flooring was nothing because we didn't do any flooring in there. So to add that bathroom, yeah, it's about $6,000 is what it cost to add that bathroom. 7, because we had to do the sheetrock, and the sheetrock number was split between the downstairs and the upstairs dormer. So yeah. Yep. REI trainer, bummer on them going out of business. I agree. Glad to hear you're shopping local again. I'm building a new house here in Virginia, slab on grade. Hope it goes okay. Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, we always try and buy local, but when we're buying at volume and they can't hit the same price, like, sorry. The relationship matters when I'm doing like, a unit, and I'm doing a room here and a room there. I need to do a couple of rooms. That's a different story. Like we're doing local right now on a project that we have where we're doing, in fact, the community house, we're doing the kitchen. Boy, did I blow those numbers away. We did really, 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 really well. Really, really well. Really, really well on those numbers. Yeah. So yeah, boot camp spoiler. This duplex is 2-bed, 2-bath units with attic with a bunch of heated room with electrical and heat, and a bathroom that isn't a legal unit. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna want to tell on yourself, right? In that city, like you're gonna have to pull the permit. They're gonna see, oh, none of this work was permitted, so they might, what are they gonna make you do with that? That's always the scary thing with unpermitted work. You can work with some towns where you're just like, yeah, I can see what I need to. If you do this much tear back, I can see what I need to, and then you're good to go and move forward, and we'll permit it and you'll pay for it. In other cases, they're like, nope, rip it off. And you're like, dude, what? Like, yeah, rip it away. That seems aggressive. Yeah. So it depends on what happens there. But yeah, so the new bathroom there at the house is about $7,000. What else? Yeah, you guys aren't going to believe the place when you see it. I don't know if it's permanent or not, trying to figure out what I do with it. You don't have, so get the address, go down to the city and ask them for the file on that property because you'd like to see what permits have been pulled, and you'll see whether or not it was permitted. Don't guess. I go to the town all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, can I see the file on this property? Yeah, sure. What are you looking for? Just looking to see what the history of the property is. You have to say specifically, I'm looking for a building permit for a bunch of work that I think that wasn't permitted. Nope. I just tell them, yeah, I'm just looking to see what the history of the building was. Makes it nice and easy. They always give me the file. They should give you the file too. But yeah, I would look at it. The other thing that you can do, Robert, and this is one of the things that I'll show you guys on the boot camp, but I'll share one of the secrets now, is you take your own floor plan and you just sketch it out on paper. And just put measurements on every wall, where the windows are, all of this other stuff, kind of like documenting your unit portion of the course. But if you look at those pieces and you write that stuff down, you then hire a gig economist off of Fiverr. And that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. I'll show you a drawing that I had done literally from my walking the property and taking a couple measurements, and then using the aerial view from Google Earth, and then using the aerial view from the tax database. And put it all together and presented it, and boom, done. So yeah, all that detail is what I'll cover with you guys. So I'll take you through it step by step. That's what's going to be in the boot camp this weekend. Is taking you guys through that step by step piece. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, well, guys, last chance for some extra questions. I'm fatigued. It's been a long few days, and I got so much paperwork. Holy cow. Yeah. Lots doing. She invests. When you work with contractors, do you ever pay by the day? Sure. We have a contractor that has a reputation for honesty, but charges by the day. He's looking out for us, taking initiative to fix other items that need attention, but incredibly frustrating to calculate cost per project. How do I get him to charge by the job, not by the day? The property is in tiny town in West Virginia, so contractor options are limited. She invests. That's a fantastic description of the challenge. Captive audience for sure. The challenge is that, having a discussion with them and basically saying, based on these being the projects, how long do you think that will take? And if he only does it by the day, if he says 4 days, you just say that's just too much. Just too much. If it's too much, you say I would be willing to go 3 days, but that's the max that I can spend on those things being addressed. And then leave it up to them. Because here's the thing. Is it a great 8-hour day where he's hustling the entire time? No lunch breaks, no phone breaks, no nothing. It's probably not. Is he working 6 out of those 8 hours or 4 out of those 8 hours, or is he working a 10-hour day? So yeah, that's where you kind of have to watch out for. So that's why I like it by the job, but I get it on small things. It's like, yeah, I'll hire you for the day, but that's where you want to have the conversation. How long it's going to take you to accomplish this stuff. Angel R, thanks again. You're welcome, Angel. Anytime. I'm so super excited. Like, dude, the locks worked for you. The crimping tool, the pressure crimping tool worked for you. All of these things are working for you, and you're saving thousands of dollars. This is what I always hope to see. Luke Devine, how would recommend finding your guys for basic RE work? Give me more detail on that. I'm happy to answer. So Luke, hit me with more detail there so I can answer properly. REI trainer, how many working days do you need to finish this job? Yep. Yeah. And that's why you give them a list and you go, okay, this one, or these 3 things. How much time are you going to need for that? And if you know what his day rate is, then you break it down and you're like, that feels expensive or is too expensive, or no, that's reasonable. That's fair. So yeah, that's what I do. We have some guys that work by the day. I have this one guy that's called me 7 times today for work. Called me 7 times. called me. Actually, called me 3 times, texted me 7 times. It was the calls. Calls were 3, texts were 7. And then social media'd me twice. And he still wants to charge me retail. Dude, no. You have the stench of desperation on you. And if you want me to get you off your couch, you can give me a deal. Sorry, I'm not paying market rent when you're not busy enough. And you're kind of a pain in the ass to work with. And he's decent at what he does, but he's not like the world. He's not like God's gift to it. Luke Divine. So for people who can do things like paint or maybe fix something here and there, like handyman, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, my guys. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So these are just handymen that we give normal work to. They can do everything. You can find those guys on Thumbtack. You can find those guys a lot of different places. And what you do is you say, yeah, I want to try you out on a few different projects and see the quality of the work and see how fast you can do it and see how much money it costs me. And if it looks like it's going to work out and you like working with me and I like working with you, we'd talk about doing something longer term where, maybe I commit to doing 100 hours with you, and then just work that time off and you bill me for every 10 hours you use. There's lots of ways to accomplish that. But yeah, I've got one employee, and it's because I need him to have access to all the financial systems and things like that, to be able to get in and address people's issues and problems, fully vetted. And then I have a bunch of 1099s. And the 1099s are more so I don't have to constantly have work for them, but I pay a premium to not constantly have work for them. Yeah. So I pay a different price than if they were an employee. Yep. It costs me more money, which is fine. But if when things get tight, guess what happens? They don't get calls. And so is it worth it? Is it worth it to make that much more money, but be spotty in the wintertime? Because that's what most of these guys will tell you. Yeah. In the wintertime, when you do a lot of framing and decks and siding and roofing and that sort of stuff. And then nobody's doing a lot of interior work in the wintertime because putting stuff outside and all that stuff. That's why guys here are crazy busy 6 or 7 months. And then there's 5 months where they're not very busy or much less busy. Yeah. Yeah. She asks great questions. She does ask some great questions. Couple minutes left, guys. If you have anything else that you want me to tackle. I think everybody's tired. You're welcome, Luke. Yeah, no problem. Yep. Yeah. Like I said, also go online, YouTube University, and learn how to paint right, paint well. It's not a very difficult skill to get good at. It's really not. And what's funny is that there's a lot of people, that make 20 or 25 or $30 an hour. Let's just say you make $40 an hour. Let's say you're making $80,000 a year. Most painters are going to be between 30 and $40 an hour. And for you to pay them 30, you have to bring home 30, which if you make 40 is close to what you're going to take home. So basically you're swapping hours for hours. The issue is that if you have the extra time, nights, weekends, then it's like you getting to work overtime, but you're saving that out of money pocket. It's big. It's big. Robert Fairley. So 5 bathrooms and 3, and if 3 are baths, then it checks out on the property card. Half baths. If 3 are half baths, then it checks out on the property card. Okay. Chester, my eyes are glued to the game. Ravens scored a touchdown, so the deficit is now only 21-14. Amazing. Investing folks, do you think there's going to be a load of properties coming onto the market for sale this winter? I think there's going to be more office stuff. There's going to be more office stuff. There's going to be more commercial stuff. I think it will be distressed assets. But that's bigger stuff. As far as single family homes, if you don't have to move, they're not going to. If they have to move, then yes. I just don't see the have tos being a huge number. Not at this point. Not at this point. Nope. Especially with rates high. Looking for 2 to 4 properties, 2 to 4 units. Two to four units. Yeah. If it's those, then my answer is actually, yeah, units, properties. Yeah. Yeah. Unit properties. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot. I don't. I think 2s, 3s, and 4s. I called it 2 years ago and I said the best assets to be buying are 2s, 3s, and 4s. They've appreciated far more than single family homes. Far more. Yeah, far more. And they drive a whole lot more revenue. Donkey choking revenue. Yeah, I love doubles. I love dupes, tries, and quads. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Sorry. Yeah, they're not coming. I just got top of market for a duplex. Top of market. It's set the comp. And I sold it 2 months ago. Crazy. But yeah, I'm seeing stuff in towns still break records on small multifamily. The problem that they're going to start to have is that to make those numbers work, they're guaranteeingly counting at increases. They're counting on rent increases for the next 2 or 3 years. Then they're going to be disappointed. That's where they're going to get caught. That's where they're going to get caught. Yeah. Farinelli, it's also listed as a 2.5 story on the property card. So that finished attic looking like it's legal. So you can finish the attic. The only thing you're ever going to need is 2 forms of egress. So even if they call it 2.5, it might be legal. But like I said, dormering that stuff is awesome. She invests. Thanks, Matt. Rehabbing my first commercial property. Greatly appreciate your insights. That's awesome. Congratulations. Love those rehabs. I'm doing too many rehabs right now, but I had to do the community house. I couldn't pass up on it. I had to do that for you guys. And then I got a 5 unit that I'm working on where I'm supposed on the 21st, I'm waiting for my final approval on the 21st so I can get this stinking project finished. Because I need that one approval before I can finish. But as soon as I get that one approval, I am insulation, sheetrock, flooring, trim out, windows. I'm going to be able to do all that in about 6 weeks. So I am dying to get that done. Dying. And then the jail's still progressing. I was there with the fire chief this morning at the jail. That went pretty well. I got him all the documents and information that he needs. And so I'm just waiting for his feedback. If anything needs to be changed, but I think we're probably good. Whew. Oh my heavens. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I got like 4 or 5 hours last night and I got 0 the night before. So I'm Matty tie. So hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. As always, hit that like button on your way out, please. I'll see you guys in class on Saturday, and then we'll do we will do an update. We will do an update walkthrough on the project house in the next couple of days. Probably won't be tomorrow. Probably be Saturday or Sunday, maybe Monday. I really want to see what the guys finish. Who's in there now? I think the painters. I think we're actually doing a stain blocking spray on the entire house inside. So yeah, it's good times, guys. It's good times. Have a fantastic rest of your week, guys. Great time hanging out with you. Have a great week. Again, focus on your business, whether who you voted for or not won. It doesn't matter. Focus on your business, focus on the numbers, run a good business, and the rest will be taken care of. Rich McGuff, like always, awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great week. Take care, everybody. See ya.